Hello again. Thinking a lot about the videos I did at the river the other day. I don't regret what I said, of course. I mean, talking about my father. Because they talk about time travelers have paradox problems, where they have to deal with a past that no longer applies to the present, or that history's been changed. Well, I know what a paradox feels like whenever I see somebody that I can deal with them as an adult now, not as a child, not as a subordinate. I don't have to be afraid of that person anymore, and I don't have to worry about them disciplining me. I can just be myself. I can say, fuck that shit in front of my dad, and he's going to go, huh, listen to that language. But that's all he's going to say. He's a guy who doesn't even hardly get mad anymore. He's so different. I just wanted to explain why I want to know this man, my father. He is so at ease with himself these days. He used to be a man for all seasons. He would adopt the traits of the people around him. He didn't know who he was. He knows who he is now, and he found out who he is just fine. He doesn't try to win anybody over anymore. It's like, take it or leave it, But the point I wanted to make is, in a sense, my parents' story is connected through the dysfunctional family and fucked up religion. As a matter of fact, I owe my existence to religion being a destructive force. And I'll explain that. My mother ran away from home when she was, I think, 15. It was so unbearable. My grandparents had 5 children. 4 girls, 1 boy. My uncle David had to live out in a barn with, shoved newspapers in all the gaps to keep the drafts out, and it was a horrible childhood for him to live in a barn. Well, my mom had been squirreling money away. I don't know. She's a very industrious person, always has been. She's a survivor. And she and a friend got on a Greyhound, and they were going to start a new life. And the Portland police picked her up, and they wanted to take her home, and she refused. She said, I'd rather go to juvenile hall. I'd rather go to prison. I will not go back there. So my grandparents had gone all the way up there, and at the same time, my Uncle David had gone to an orphanage and asked if they could take him. My Uncle David. Same time. They were very embarrassed about this, my grandparents, that they were, the orphanage, of course, had called my grandparents and said, hey, we got a lot of kids here looking for a family, and you got one looking to lose his family. What the heck's going on? And then my grandfather built that attic room for my uncle so he could live indoors. And my mom had run away, and she was sent to Phoenix because my grandfather knew a family there that could take care of her, and they were in the same faith. And that's how she met my dad, is because of running away from home, because religion and that life was so intolerable. That's how they met. And she actually was dating my dad's younger brother. She wasn't dating him, excuse me. She went on a date with him. Met him one time, on a date. And going home, she met my dad. He was on leave from the Navy. And he joined the Navy as a young man. I think he was 16. And he joined the Navy to get away from his family, because they had 5 or 6, 7 kids themselves, and no room, not enough money to feed them. And you know, my dad was a pretty dashing guy. I mean, handsome. I mean, he had that, you know, James Dean kind of look. You know, you know, he was a handsome man when he was young. But what I wanted to say though is that I can thank that fucked up situation of having too many kids that you know, more than you can raise, and being nuts on religion, and yet being crappy parents, really led to me being to my existence. So thank you, Lord. I'm such a smart ass. I don't know if that's a blessing, you know, or not, but you can thank religion for my existence. Thought that was interesting. Ciao for now.